blockchain platform has been born. Its core mission is to develop easier and more affordable tools for everyone to be able to create tokens and NFTs. For the first time, we're introducing the innovative Tokel platform, a fully decentralized community-driven project with contributors globally. It offers many new powerful features for artists, content creators, and event organizers and token owners. Tokel is building the future of tokenization together with the help of Komodo technologies. Creators and users have the freedom to create, to hold, buy, sell, and trade tokens with ease. Developers have the freedom to build on top of the platform's layer. Tokel has features such as simplified token creation tools, token decks, and NFT marketplace. The NFT creation process has an extremely low barrier to entry. Businesses and individuals can now benefit from the token economy by using tokens in everyday life. A built-in decentralized exchange enables peer-to-peer trading. Tokel.io, the future of tokenization to NFT and beyond.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tokel Talk. I'm E. Giuliano. It's the 11th of January, 2022. And here's the first Tokel Talk of the year. So welcome. Thanks for being here. I hope you've had a good transition from 2021 into 2022. And if you're joining us live, welcome to the audience. Thank you for being here. If you're joining us recorded after the fact, we appreciate your listening to the podcast. And I really hope for everybody that today will be informative, educational, and entertaining. Today we have a couple of members from the Tokel team here, Dream Tim and Kelsey. We've also got a member from the Komodo platform team, PTYX. And we've got a few members from the Crypto Collider team. We've got Collider, CJ, we've got Challenger, and Weblet. And so I hope this is going to be an entertaining, educational discussion for you. The aim of this discussion is going to be to talk about the Komodo platform technologies and how that helps to set apart the Tokel platform and, for example, what Crypto Collider is doing amongst the industry, the blockchain, crypto, digital asset industry, and of course the token and NFT space. So without further details here, I just want to welcome in Collider. Thanks for being here, Collider.
Howdy, E. Giuliano. Thanks for having us.
Great. And Challenger, thanks for being here.
Hey, Giuliano, yeah, thanks for having us. Quite an exciting time to be saying hello to the new people at Tokel.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of which, the Tokel Talk podcast has gained some new listeners. So if you're one of those new listeners, definitely stick around and keep listening to more. We hope that you've found a place that you can gain some insights and some thoughts around this whole space, which is quite fascinating, really. And there's so much diversity, which I hope we can start getting into in this talk. I'd also like to welcome Weblet to the talk. Hi, Weblet.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nice. And so Weblet, Crypto Challenger, and Collider are from the Crypto Collider team. We also have Kelsey and Dream Tim from the Tokel team, and we have PTYX from the Komodo platform team. Hi, PTYX.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for being here, PTYX, taking your time as usual to talk about Komodo platform technologies and the different aspects that brings along. And of course, we have Dream Tim and Kelsey. Hello, Kelsey.
Hi. Thank you for hosting, and I want to thank everyone for attending.
Yeah, definitely. Those of you who are here live, special shout outs to you. And for those of you who couldn't make it live and you're still listening, then a special shout out to you too. We're really excited to be able to bring a live format and a recorded format, however you can consume at your convenience. And of course, One of the big players in all of that is Dream Tim, the Tokel team. He's been making a lot of things happen behind the scenes for such things as the Tokel Talk. And so Dream Tim, welcome. Thank you for being here yet again.
Hey there, everybody. Glad to be here. Thanks, Giuliano.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we dropped Weblet there. He might be needing to fix some technical issues, but there are plenty of us here on the stage today. And I would like us to have a chat about Komodo platform technologies. The Crypto Collider and Tokel platform share in a lot of aspects because they're both Komodo smart chains, independent autonomous chains from the Komodo platform with similar architecture, but also different options as well. And they share in some of that technology, including the atomic DEX technology with the decentralized wallet and basically the application that can be made into a whole bunch of different options, including Collider's game we're going to hear about, and Tokel platforms, NFT creation tool, and the coming marketplace and DEX. So that's very exciting, and I think it's beautiful because we can talk between us about some of those similarities and what allows these chains to become what they are, and then contrast them as well and see what unique features can be brought through Komodo technologies. So firstly, I would like to welcome Collider to the program here. And Collider, just give us a brief overview about Crypto Collider, what it is, and maybe who you are, like what your role is or what you're working on with Crypto Collider.
Right, yeah, no problem. So we've been around for a little while now, continually building since around 2015. And it's in the last year, of probably a year and a half, that we've migrated over to the Komodo platform and to using the atomic DEX as the base plate of everything that we're delivering, so that the games that we've made over the last couple of years are now able to be integrated into a wallet and a DEX and get a step closer to full decentralization with every update we make. So it's a really accelerated period of technical progress in the last year, as we've been able to build on top of everything that Komodo's created in the last few years as well. I mean, I can see the same sort of advantages in other projects, especially Tokel. The progress that they've made in such a short amount of time is in no small part due to Komodo. But yeah, that's the games that we have, one's focused on beginners for learning, and it's free to play and educational game. And the other game we have is the Collider Arena, which is about trading and hedging, and it's quite advanced and has a lot of room for skill and for winning. So those two games, both integrated into the Atomic DEX in our next major update, which is so close. I could almost give you a date, but I'm too afraid to do that, so we'll just say incredibly close. Keep an eye on the Collider, cryptocollider.com and the Discord, because we will be releasing the beta of the new version for testing very soon.
Excellent. And did you say something? I mean, I don't want to speak publicly, but you had said something to me. Did you want to mention that, or do you want to save that to the end, or is that something that can't be really talked about right now in relation to the game and the Tokel?
We can. The next version will include Tokel as a playable object inside the arena, and that is really exciting for us because we're really interested to see if we can get the new auto hedging feature, which we've built into the latest version, where it's basically an automated bot to play the game in a way that moves you from one coin to a spread of the other coins that are played in the game. So it would be really great to see if we can get some of the Tokel community and the Komodo community and maybe Verus and some other of the Komodo communities to all auto hedge against each other and really see this system work. It's going to be very exciting once
Interesting.
once we're ready for that. I'm going to make sure everyone knows. So
Good. Well, we'll do our best to do that too. So you're mentioning that TKL will be included in the next iteration of the game. So that's pretty exciting. So we're going to hear a little bit more about how this all works and tie it in with Tokel and the technologies underlying Tokel. And to do that, we also have PTYX here, who is one of the more, educated people around Komodo platform. PTYX, you can tell us a bit more about yourself, your role with Komodo platform, and what you've been doing recently.
Yeah, for those that don't know me, I've been with Komodo platform since early 2016, and I've been able to see the platform grow from what it was to what it is now. And there has been a lot of basically changes and growth in what Komodo started out to do and what it is now. I would have to say that one of the main strengths of Komodo as a project has been the atomic DEX that has allowed us to basically bridge most blockchains, most blockchain ecosystems. And my role in the platform now is I lead the business development of the platform. So any type of integration, partnerships, or business opportunities that we identify, I'm the person that basically is in charge of liaisoning between the projects and the development team. Then the team as a whole makes decisions on what things to go after and what things we can't go after. But yeah, that's my main role at Komodo right now. But I did start out more on like a technical role, doing technical support, troubleshooting. So I'm very acquainted with the tech in the first years that I worked with the platform, and then that evolved
Nice.
into what I do now.
Nice. So it's probably been very interesting as well for you to watch the technology evolve as well. And I hope we can get into some of the nuts and bolts today. So thanks a lot for being here. And, with you were going to say something? No? Okay, sorry. So yeah, with that, we're really excited to have you, and because you do have both those angles. And if anybody's interested to get more involved with Komodo platform, like we'll hear Collider, they migrated onto Komodo platform technologies. Tokel is birthed on Komodo platform technology. Arguably one of the most advanced potential technologies with Komodo is the NSPV functioning there, and they're taking that and running with that pretty well. So you've seen all of that kind of growing over these years, and if anybody's interested, they can probably lean into you. And so we'll hear from you. We have Crypto Challenger and Weblet here, both involved with the Collider team. Can we get just a quick introduction from you guys? We'll start with Crypto Challenger. Maybe just let us know what you've been working on towards this new release.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm more of a hands-on creator with the challenge game, just for the purpose of getting people more educated up on the space, because there's a lot of people that are unaware of what crypto actually is. And yeah, we just got a game together so people can have some fun and get involved in progressing through the crypto space.
So this is the educational game, correct?
Yeah, fun little
Great.
game that
Awesome.
been working on for a couple of years. Yeah.
Good. And so we look forward to that release for sure. And included or involved in that release also is Weblet. Weblet, which aspect were you working with?
I've been basically developing the Collider DEX itself. So I've been modifying what was Atomic DEX into Collider DEX to integrate Challenge as well as Collider Arena. And I developed the auto hedging that we have currently. I've been working on that basically as of
Sweet.
late.
Amazing. So we have a lot of talent here, a lot of wealth of knowledge and experience within here around Komodo technologies. And therefore you can talk a lot about the Tokel technologies because they come from the same place and they have similar properties, right? So what I want this to be is not an interview where we go around and I ask question and answer to each of you. I really would love for you and us to all have basically a round discussion about these technologies. There are, I think, three main to cover, which would be the smart chain technology itself, then also the NSPV aspect of it, which will cover some of that delayed proof of work stuff, and then the atomic DEX and how that, like we've just heard briefly, can be integrated with a whole bunch of different aspects to it. So yeah, I would really like it if we could have just a round discussion. Don't hesitate to jump in at any point. Of course, we'll wait for respectful pauses, but at the same time, yeah, let's just have at it a good discussion. The first really one of the considerations I want to have is basically about the independent smart chains. Crypto Collider is its own smart chain. Tokel is its own smart chain. What does that even mean? So maybe we're going to start with you, PTYX. Like, what is this even?
Hello? You cut out.
Yeah, we
for a
can hear you.
moment.
That's okay. We hear you now.
Can you repeat that? You cut out. I heard
I cut
PTYX.
I'm just wondering, like, about the independent smart chains. Like, what is this? What are these independent smart chains?
Sure. Independent smart chains are they're basically independent blockchains, and the benefit to a smart chain is that they're interoperable with the rest of the ecosystem. So, as for example, if you were to launch a fork of Bitcoin, you would have an independent blockchain where you can set different parameters like the fee structures, but it doesn't make you interoperable with other chains. With the smart chains, you get those same benefits where you're running an independent chain with their own parameters, but you have the added benefit that you're interoperable with the rest of the ecosystem through the atomic
Okay.
DEX.
So yeah, and through the atomic DEX. So like for example, Tokel and Collider, their coins can be traded now. Now you've integrated with atomic DEX. You've integrated Matic tokens, Avalanche tokens, a whole bunch of others that are popular now. So now any smart chain like Collider or Tokel can be traded with any other ecosystem that's bridged through atomic DEX. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And not only that, like you were talking about interoperable in that way. And one thing that I noticed about Collider is that they're using the interoperability like as a cluster or something like that. Maybe it's not out yet, but Collider, can you say a little bit more about that? Like, how are you using the independent smart chains?
Well, we're only just scratching the surface, really, of what's possible there. But the ability to fully decentralize with all these different chains without being held back by needing to service transaction fees in a sort of an apparent chain, it really opens up the doors to the independence, which means that you can add features or you can use features with your own fee structure. So you're not. I mean, that's just such a huge deal in the industry at the moment because of everything's based on Ether and everything's too expensive to use. Like it was just, and they don't have control. They're not independent. They're completely at the mercy of the parent chain, which can't fit all of this activity of the whole world. It was going through my mind just in the last couple of days. What would the industry look like today if instead of ERC20s, Ethereum tokens, we had Komodo smart chains? Like how different would the whole situation be? I mean, I'm not sure you would have any of the scalability issues or security issues that we have now.
Why is that? Can you just elaborate on that? Or if somebody else wants to jump in on that, go for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure. Well, I mean, hopefully, there's a lot of sort of sparks flying in everyone's mind. Sort of, what would that world look like? What sort of challenges would there be for the Komodo system at that level of scale? And it just seems like I can't see the problems. I think it would perform so much better and give so much more freedom to the developers while still allowing the interoperability. Because especially if the smart chain is using the same address encoding format, then you kind of instantly know everyone's address for every token on every chain, and you can, just knowing someone's address for that smart chain gives you ability to send them coin in another smart chain while having completely separate fee structures, which is why we're able to plan ahead and plan to have multiple chains, because I want to isolate the fee structures for different processes and be like, well, this process needs to be very secure and needs a different fee structure than this function or process, because it has lower security requirements and more transaction requirements, and to be able to have that fine-tuned ability to create these chains which are specific to certain tasks rather than
Yeah.
trying to fit everything on one big chain.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. What do you think, BTYX, about like being able to do a division of labor so that specific, like when you get more complicated with when you need to do certain logic on the chain, doesn't it help it to be easier to like to be able to create? You can even like create and destroy chains. There's just a lot of options, isn't there? Am I understanding correctly?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things with the smart chains is that scalability isn't an issue. There definitely are benefits to somewhat like how would you say it? Like spreading the load across chains if you needed.
Yeah, and what if you also needed to like do different logic? Like you might want a chain that is just so. I think we maybe need to back up here for a second, but with the Komodo smart chains, you it's very composable as well. Am I right? Like you can choose, like for example, Tokel. They chose the NSPV to be a part of it. They chose their proof of work as their consensus model. Whereas, for example, in the Marmara chain, they chose like I think it's 3-to-1, maybe 75% and 25%. Like you can choose ratios of proof of stake, proof of work. Isn't that also something that allows for not only being able to focus your blockchain on a specific task, but then you can they can just be different. Like the creativity, I guess, is what I'm asking. A collider, does it help in being able to be creative to use blockchains to do the type of things you want or need them to do?
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the key feature that sets Komodo's approach out. That ability to fine tune and have task specific security that is based on what you're actually doing, rather than having the world's greatest security for every little thing you're doing. I mean, I think that granular approach is inevitable. It's just that in the beginning, we do things fast and easy generally, but as the ecosystem in general evolves, I think it has to evolve towards many, many chains, all with different features. And in the smart chain system, they'd all be independent but still interoperable. So that's a big advantage.
Right on. And you mentioned security. So with security, you also benefit from the delayed proof of work. Tokel platform benefits from that security model. A Collider benefits from that security model. And then also you could just there seems to be some technical aspects to Komodo platform security. Is there anything you wanted to mention around that?
Yeah, the great thing about delayed proof of work is that it borrows from the security of Litecoin used to be Bitcoin, but more efficient for Litecoin. That's a good change. So it's incredibly efficient in recycling the hash power from Litecoin, which is something again that the major chains or even smaller ones, they're either so big that they're inefficient or they're so small that they're insecure. And delayed proof of work, gives that step in between where you can be both small and secure and not have to pay crazy amounts for the fee structure. So you can control your fee structure, have it really small, and simultaneously have security where any rollback, any hack of the chain is only going to be able to do about 2.5 minutes worth of transactions. So working within that limit, you can have pretty much perfect security.
Yeah, you know what? Now, then, speaking of delayed proof of work, that really ties into the NSPV, the notarized SPV technology that Tokel platform is using and pushing forward, and then providing into the rest of the ecosystem as well. So you basically have that delayed proof of work where the Komodo notaries are notarizing the data of Komodo chain onto Litecoin, as you mentioned previously, Bitcoin. But it's more so the principle of it than specifically in practice right now. You've got that notarization happening from Komodo, and then it's these independent chains like Tokel and Collider and Marmara and Varus or Pirate Chain or anyone else, the hemp coin, that are using Komodo. They're notarizing onto Komodo platform, and Komodo is notarizing that data on as well as their own data onto the bigger chain there. Is that the right idea, BTYX?
Yeah, basically, you're piggybacking off of the chain that has a higher hash rate, and that would be Litecoin. And the other chains, the smart chains, basically notarize onto the Komodo chain, and then the Komodo chain notarizes onto the Litecoin chain.
Nice. Now, this brings us really, I think, nicely into the NSPV. This is the notarized, was a special payment verification. But it's the technology that uses the servers, and that's where people are able to not have to run a full node, don't have to run a full node, and the server carries the data. Is that basically accurate, PTYX?
What was that? I apologize.
So maybe you could help us understand a little bit about the notary. So with the notaries, the SPV, I'm sorry, not notaries, the SPV and the notarized SPV and SPV. SPV is where you don't have to run a full node, and you have servers that are basically fetching the data every so often, and they're taking it from, I guess, block headers or some other piece of points of data, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. It works similar to SPV, which is like a
so the notary, yeah. So that's what I was saying. So an SPV is kind of what we were outlining there, basically, so that we might understand. SPV is you don't run your own full node, but you're able to connect to the chain through the servers. Basically, is that the idea?
Yeah, it's what lets you, for example, transact from a mobile phone. That's probably
Exactly.
the simplest way to do
And
it.
the reason being because the data required to actually run the node on the phone, it wouldn't work, right? So people have found a light client to be able to do that.
Right. Exactly.
Now, what seems to Kelsey, yes, please jump in.
Okay. So notarized simple payment verification. So this is a notarized version of SPV. So the thing that's really great about it is it runs locally on the user's computer. So in order to gain control, they have to actually have that device. It's the node size is small and it doesn't change. And then also the transactions are very quick. The transaction fees are very low, and it is delayed proof of work.
Nice. Yes. So that, I think that's where they tie together. Thanks, Kelsey. Yeah, I was reading as well a little bit about it, and it's the crossover is that the the data now with the NSPV, instead of having to go as often, it can go less often to fetch. So in that way, it becomes lighter. For example, with NSPV, it's able to not have to use a server because it can call the information directly from the node that's being run, the full nodes that are being run. It can go call from the blockchain. So in some sense, it's lighter and doesn't take as much time and resources. Yes, Kelsey.
That is correct. And then every few blocks, there's a timestamp of the notarized chain.
Yeah, so I guess that's what makes it lighter and more capable of like providing faster, less how do you say, less storage required, and also
And
it's
less
go on.
energy maybe too, for
Yeah, and
people that are worried about environmental issues.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I was thinking, as Collider was talking, I was thinking about delayed proof of work. He mentioned recycling hash rate. I think it was Collider who said it. Maybe it was PTYX. Sorry. But basically, if you're recycling hash rate, then you're gaining power from power that's already there. You're gaining hash rate from hash rate that's already there. That's good environmentally, so to speak. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits to this new technology, and NSPV was actually developed by JL777. So
As was much of this Komodo tech, or at least even just the vision of the blockchain independence, the declaration of blockchain independence from JL777. So that's pretty incredible. Yeah, and I think the other aspect to this NSPV now is that you don't, like, for example, with these NFTs, right, on Tokel platform, this is going to allow game creators to have much of an easier time to allow their game to change and update and work with the blockchain, and like basically actually interoperate with the chain. Weblet or Collider, are you guys familiar at all with the NSPV technologies? And have you looked at it at all as as a potential for anything that you're doing?
Yep, I'm watching very closely actually the implementation of Tokel, so that I can learn from their experience with it. It's very much sort of like SPV 2.0, where SPV was already light, already taken some overhead away from the full node, and then this is the next generation, and that's what we need. We need things to be lighter and faster, so they can run on phones and they can have better energy requirements. But just in general, that's progress. When things get lighter and faster.
Interesting, yeah, and in terms of the NSPV and just any other of these. Well, what I like about the Komodo platform technology is that it all seems to happen on the first layer of the chain. Like, it's happening on chain. The NSPV is calling through the chain. It's just continue. It doesn't require that third server in that sense, as far as I understand it. And it also, for example, with the chain logic, all of this custom consensus, which is the composability of the Komodo platform technologies, including being able to implement the NSPV and all of that stuff. This is logic that happens on chain. It's not an application layer above the chain. You know what I'm saying, Collider? And what does that mean really
Yeah,
for
no,
this?
yeah, exactly. I was just thinking then of an analogy, how to sort of explain it a bit more, visually, or something like that. I sort of visualize that layer 2 and layer 3 and roll ups and all this stuff is kind of like building up, like a city that's building upwards, and they're getting taller and taller buildings. And sure, that works, and that creates a lot of activity in very, very small areas, and that's great for business. But it also means that you can only go so high. You can only build so high before the physics of the structure starts to be a problem, starts to break down, and you have all sorts of new problems. But if you build a city out, that's sort of the analogy for more layer ones for Komodo to use this infinite amount of space which is available on the layer one if you just make them secure and interoperable, which those problems have been solved. We're just beginning now still to really see what they can do and how closely integrated these different chains can become. Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting journey.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And if anybody's interested to see some examples of how the NSPV technology is being used for creating games, and just generally how Tokel tokens and NFTs are being used for creating games, you can check out the lore of the Tokels. That's one of them that's been they've been definitely working to integrate and test and do that kind of stuff involving Tokel platform. So I'm really excited to see the implementation and the application of the NSPV technology from Tokel platform into games. I'm really excited for that. And then, of course, beyond that, there's other things. But I think games is a really hot topic these days. Speaking of which, Collider, what do you think? You build games,
Yes.
so what do you think about all that? And in the meantime, PTYX, I have you queued to come up, so come on up if you can hear this. But go ahead, Collider.
Yeah, I don't want to, I can't mention any details yet because I'm still working out. I haven't announced anything yet, but I'm definitely looking very close at how I can use the NFT platform Tokel to NFTize the arena and challenge as well, so that we get this extra value created through the gameplay, which that's what the industry can offer to the next generation of gamers is the ability to sort of monetize, or add value to every single action they undertake, and Togel's a perfect match there for Collider to start to do that.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. I'm already getting ideas in my mind, and I don't want to go down that tangent, but we look forward to hearing more about that. We're still very excited for this upcoming release as well. So that's pretty cool, and that involves a lot of work from Weblet. So on that note, I think we're going to move, unless PTYX, did you have anything you wanted to say about NSPV, or anybody else too? Kelsey, any thoughts?
No, I think you guys touched on the more important issues and the benefits of it.
Excellent. Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, in speaking of Weblet there, you were working with the Atomic Dex. So a lot of these things, they kind of bleed into each other, so to speak. They blend into each other with the Komodo technologies. And so now we're going to kind of slide over to the Atomic Dex angle. And I'd like to hear a little bit about your thoughts about it, and yeah, just give us a bit of an idea going forward for that.
About Atomic Dex itself?
Yeah, Atomic Dex and the technologies, like what you're noticing. I mean, I don't know to what degree you familiarized yourself with it. But based on some of the things we've already been saying, and you got Collider, you have Tokel here, and then we think broadly Komodo platform and the Dex itself. Yeah, any initial thoughts around that?
Well, I've been trying to sort of keep up with what everyone's saying. Admittedly, I actually don't know too much about crypto. I let CJ handle a lot of that brainwork, so I might need your help, everybody, with correcting me, things like that. In terms of Atomic Dex, it, I feel I'm not sure if it's what I've been working on, but I feel as if there could be more optimizing could be done with it. But in terms of the blockchains or the crypto or whatever, especially in a gaming environment, transaction speed is something that sort of stuck out to me. I'm not sure if I'm correct in saying that, but is that kind of what you guys have been talking about with this evolution or this going forward with cryptos kind
Yeah,
of thing?
kind of. Yeah, kind of. But I mean, in the sense that, you've been like, for example, Tokel platform is working with the Atomic Dex infrastructure, let's call it, to
Right.
build out their all-in-one application there. And
Yeah.
same thing with Collider. Like you had a big part in that. Maybe just characterize it like, yeah, I think it's one of the best, if not the best, multi-chain native peer-to-peer bridge that there is. Of course, there might be others that I'm unfamiliar with, whatever, but like, I mean, come on, it's so robust, and at the same time, it has this composability aspect to it, which I think just mirrors the whole Komodo platform ethos. Like, you get to be independent, but at the same time, you get to interoperate and pull from all of these Komodo potentials there. So yeah, so that's kind of what I mean. Like, what's that been like for you in learning about Atomic Dex and seeing it in action, or even like working on it? Yeah.
Oh, so it's been good. It's been really quite friendly with me to work with too. And from what I've been learning from CJ, the decentralized part of it, yeah, it's been great. The way it works as well, you're right. It's very robust. It hasn't given me too much issues with developing as well. And I've come in fresh. I actually come from a game development background, so coming into this from, say, a game engine, has been uh, a very big learning experience, and it's been quite friendly to me, and um, yeah, easy to develop with. But in terms of the characteristics and comparing them with others and stuff, in all honesty, I don't have much experience to make really a good response in that. But
That's
um,
okay. That's okay. You do have a unique experience, though, actually
yeah,
working with it directly. So that's something that is pretty rare. Um, you're probably really familiar with it, the inner workings of it right now, on some level.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been digging deeper and deeper lately as well, because we've had to learn how to send transactions and stuff like that. As well, I've kind of customized our own. Um, as yeah, as I've been developing, I'm going deeper and deeper. But yeah, it's been good. Um, it's been set up very well. But I believe there's still levels deeper that I still yet to go to. But I'm sure we will eventually get there.
Sweet. PTYX, is there like, or Collider? Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I just thought I'd jump in there and just cover for the audience uh, mostly the major difference between Atomic Dex and the other decentralized exchanges is one, the biggest one is that it's cross-chain, so you're going across all these different chains rather than being stuck in a single chain, which is very unique. There are just a couple, probably what just I can only think of one that comes to mind, pure an actual cross-chain DEX that is fairly popular. But even that one, they all also use liquidity pools, automated market makers, which expose all of their users to an extraordinary security risk that is never really given the attention that it deserves, because from convenience point of view and from a wanting your coin to go up point of view, everyone sort of ignores the fact that those other decentralized exchanges create incredibly large honeypots of potentially hundreds of millions of dollars getting just wiped out in a moment if there is the tiniest error in the smart contract that runs it. Where in Atomic Dex, every single trade, every single user, all their security is isolated from each other. There's no centralized storage, even centralized storage in a decentralized blockchain. And that extra benefit, well, it's putting the user first. It's saying, we're not going to go for the fast way or the convenient way. We're going to go for the way that we know is going to keep the users as safe and as in control of their own coins as possible. So yeah, that's what I see as the real advantages there, that over time will get noticed. You know, as these other chains have these problems with putting all the users' funds in one place.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, it makes sense for sure. That security aspect is big, and the idea that there are a lot of decentralized exchanges out there, but they are trading tokens on a single chain, and there are a lot of bridges out there, but they may not be decentralized, and there might be those security risks involved. What are your thoughts about that, PTYX?
I think it's it's one of the topics, at least because most of the DEXs that people know are automated market makers, which are basically just smart contracts. And like Collider pointed out, with the smart contracts comes a bit of centralization in the way that the funds are stored. And if there are any vulnerabilities in the smart contract, then you get hacks, you get people either taking control of the smart contract, draining them. You get people front running the smart contract. And then you have other issues because everything is running on one chain. So basically, if the chain gets congested, then the automated market makers also stop working. With the atomic DEX, everything is as decentralized as can be. The atomic DEX as it is now, and this is something that the team has been discussing, is how to improve speed of the exchanges. But the way that the architecture works right now is that it works to be as decentralized as possible. So whenever you make a swap from one chain to the other, you are dependent on the block confirmations of each chain. So for example, if you're swapping Litecoin to Bitcoin, on the Litecoin side, the confirmations are going to happen very fast, but on the Bitcoin side, it's going to take 10 minutes to have one confirmation. So the trading is very slow compared to, for example, Pancake Swap or Uniswap, where each confirmation happens every 60 seconds. But also on those dexes, you're not trading cross chain. So there are benefits, and then obviously there are downsides to the atomic DEX. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what exactly the atomic DEX is being used for. And I do think, especially right now with the way that the architecture is set up, we have been a bit slower at getting liquidity on the DEX. But mainly that's just because of how the order books and the liquidity provider nodes work. But the tools are almost in place to basically make it as user friendly as possible to plug liquidity into the DEX. And we have seen adoption by other projects using the DEX. I think this year the main focus for the DEX is going to be third-party integrations. So well-known wallets will be integrating the DEX, well, their own version of the atomic DEX via the API. So all those things are going to add to the use cases of the DEX. And again, this isn't for speed trading. This is for decentralization. So yeah, that's basically what I have to say about the atomic DEX.
And what do you? Nice, yeah. And speaking of third party, what do you think when you see Tokel platform doing what they're doing with the DEX and Collider doing what they're doing with the DEX? And yeah, like what are some thoughts that you have about that?
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting because all these projects. I think right now we have at least 5 or 6 projects using the atomic DEX, and some of the communities that are using it don't even know that it's actually a Komodo. It's the Komodo engine, or it's built by a separate team. So to me, that's very interesting. I think it breaks down the barrier of projects being able to launch their own products with something that's already built, it's already ready to go. And again, this year, I know for a fact we will see a few third-party wallets, like larger wallets, integrate the API. And most of their users probably won't even know that it's atomic DEX. They'll just see a DEX and they'll use it, and it benefits Komodo directly. but it promotes the technology indirectly. So it's interesting. It's an interesting use case, and for Komodo as a technology provider, I think it's important. I think the Atomic DEX will most likely see the biggest uses outside of the Atomic DEX brand, meaning that other larger established brands will use the engine, but they won't brand it as Atomic DEX.
Yeah, like the Tokel DEX, all-in-one DApp, and Collider DEX, and that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Or
well,
the
that's good to
Doge
hear.
DEX. The Doge DEX, I think,
exactly.
got it was like 15,000 users in a few months. And that was just a weekend job to try to get some use, and it works. I mean, it breaks down the barrier basically of introducing the app to a community.
Yeah, and it finds the different niches, and entices them. Like you mentioned too about some. Well, first thing I noticed is that when Komodo platform can get some very technical things done in a very short amount of time, if need be. And one thing I wanted to talk about today was like the community of developers just in and around the whole ecosystem, third-party projects, and all of that, and the communication back and forth. If anybody has any thoughts on that, please do share them. But basically, the idea that there's a lot of skill and talent and capability. I notice All Right is here. So shout outs to you, All Right. And Satinder is there too. And people that rally around a crypto challenger. I'm inviting you back up on stage. But anyway, having said that, there's just this capacity for Komodo to move and get things done quickly to benefit in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
The other thing that I noticed and wanted to mention too was that, like you're saying about getting Atomic DEX onto other exchanges using the API, but not the branding. And in that sense, for example, Tokel, TKL will benefit, or Collider will benefit because now they are also listed on those exchanges. Is that how it's would work, PTYX?
How do you mean, like listed on other
Like, for
exchanges?
example, well, I mean, because on the Atomic DEX API, you're able to tap into all of these smart chains and all the other chains. So would that mean that other wallets would be able to also they would have Tokel available through their wallet as well, right?
Yeah, if they use the Atomic DEX API, basically all of the coins that are compatible are going to be available. It does depend on the third party though to actually enable a particular coin. So, for example, if we had a major wallet that would integrate the DEX, obviously they would have to make the decision of integrating any coin. It could be Tokel, it could be Komodo itself. So they have that option.
Understood. Cool. Well, we hope that most likely the more that are integrated, the more that it includes everybody to use their wallets. So anyway, that's pretty cool. We're all, I hope this has been, interesting, intriguing, thought-provoking for the audience, whether you're here live, thanks for joining, or whether you're listening or watching in a recorded format. There's been a lot to go around today. And I don't see. So, Crypto Challenger, if you can get back up here, please do come up. And Weblet, Collider, Kelsey, Dream Team, and PTYX. If you have anything else to talk about here regarding some of the things we said, just definitely get that in.
From my side, I think we touched on some good things, mainly the benefits of the Atomic DEX, NSPV, and the Komodo tech. But yeah, I think if anyone is interested in either using the technology or partnering with Komodo, the doors are always open. They can reach out to us either through our website or our partners at komodoplatform.com.
Perfect.
And if you have questions, feel free to reach out.
Excellent. Thank you very much, PTYX, for being here. And I don't see Crypto Challenger up here yet, so that's fine. Thanks, Crypto Challenger, for being here. Weblet, Collider, Thank you so much for joining us today. I mean, I would like to hear more about like the development side of things and what it's like interacting that way. Weblet, were you pretty much heads down? Did you have communications with some of the Komodo team developers or anybody else in the community, or was it mainly with CJ?
CJ was more like my my venting option. I'd vent to him when I'd run into issues, but I was very close to contacting the QT forums not too long ago, but I thought of my issue out. So far, I've actually been able to work everything out on my own. Unfortunately, some things do take some time though to figure out. But yeah, all has been well so far. I haven't run into any walls that I can't jump just of yet. But I was a little curious. PTYX on the one of the things you just last mentioned when you were saying about enabling the coins for the third parties. I'm unsure exactly what you meant by that. Do you mean by enabling the coins on Atomic Dex themselves, or the third parties software itself, or I'm actually just a bit
Well,
confused.
basically, showing it in their own interface, because what they're integrating is the API itself. And like if it's a coin, I don't know, let's just mention a wallet, Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet might not have Tokel listed, might not have Komodo listed, but if they integrate the API, they have to make a decision on what coins they actually show on their interface. So there's two things: if the coin is compatible and integrated into Atomic Dex, and then the other thing is it shown on the graphical interface that you're trading on?
Yeah, I think I get what you mean.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, like how we have enabled all of the coins that are common between Atomic Dex and the Collider games inside the Collider Dex. And yeah, hopefully we do see as more wallets create their own versions. Let's say you have Raven Dex come out soon or later, and then Collider Coin and Tokel and all the hundreds of coins that are available on Atomic X now can all be there too. I mean, they just got to switch it on. You know, we just got to convince them to flip the switch and offer our coin by default to their users too.
Yeah, I think I understand.
Which is
Excellent.
not a lot to ask, considering how much benefit they're going to get from having a pre-built Dex, ready to go.
Yeah, cool. So, and this is, I mean, we talked a lot today about Komodo platform technologies that enable Collider and Tokel platform as well to do the things that they're doing. But we didn't really talk too much about NFTs and tokens themselves. We are coming up to the end of the program, but I do want to just get a sense from where you are at around NFTs, tokens, any thoughts you have to share. Yeah, like I'm just curious what everybody's thinking and feeling around NFTs and tokens and that whole aspect of what's developing now, what's coming up now in the whole blockchain crypto space.
I think one of the things that's missing with NFTs is cross-chain compatibility. It's something I haven't seen yet, but if it could be solved, it would be major. Where you would, I know that the trading of the tokens themselves is completely doable, but being able to, for example, issue a coin on Solana or NFT on Solana and then migrate it over to the Binance chain or then migrate it to Tokel, I think that would be something very interesting.
Amazing.
I think that NFTs are extremely exciting right now, because if you look at sort of usage statistics, you will see that there are more transactions around NFTs. There are other transactions on DeFi. So NFTs are growing, really super fast. They've reached a point now where they have spread across different art forms, and we are due to see more NFT functionality in other parts of business. And that's what Tokel is all about. It's enabling businesses and individuals to get into the NFT space, but not necessarily always in the form of selling artwork, but also in other key functions of their businesses to be able to take advantage of the token economy.
Fascinating.
Yeah, there are a lot of
yeah.
use cases for tokenization that I think we will see this year. I think it's going to be explosive.
Perfect, because I'm really looking forward to talk more about those in the coming Tokel talks as we move forward. And so definitely everybody stick around for those. Yeah, PTYX.
No, I was gonna say I was recently speaking to a project. They're launching an NFT collection on Solana, and they want to use the Atomic DEX to build a Solana enabled DEX. And the plan that they have is that they're gonna add an extra DEX fee, and they would share that fee with the NFT holders. So the NFT in essence becomes like ownership over the DEX. So I thought that was pretty interesting use case.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, always interesting to hear some of those talks that you're having behind the scenes. Any other thoughts?
I think we could probably do an entire Tokel talk on use cases alone.
Oh, we will. I'm sure we will, and more. And yeah, I really look forward to those. Weblet, any thoughts around NFTs, tokens that we were just mentioning?
I am likewise from before. I'm still quite not very knowledgeable in those topics.
Some people, they wonder, like, NFTs, why are they even valuable at all? Have you been wondering those kinds of questions, or they're not even entering your mind?
I've read a few things that CJ sent me. Kind of understand their valuability. But yeah, no, I haven't. I guess it's quite a new thing, isn't it? NFTs.
That's true. It is a different paradigm to try and wrap your head around sometimes.
So yeah, I haven't quite seen it yet. I mean, what it can do and sort of everything about it. But I'm sure I'll get there. I mean, I've learned a lot just from this discussion alone. So
I think the very simple way to see NFTs is, because I struggled in the beginning. I thought, what is so interesting about NFTs? Why is everybody going crazy about NFTs? And what is the value in NFTs? And then very quickly I realized it's a collectible, and it's as simple as that. So in the current form, NFTs are collectibles. The same way, when I was a kid, I used to collect cards or other items, like some people collect stamps and things like that. Why do they collect them? Because they're rare. There's not that many around. There's not that many people who have one in good condition, so therefore they collect it. And NFTs are the same. They're collectibles. They're on a chain, which means their ownership is verifiable, and it's just a sentimental piece right now of collectible value. But the way that the NFT market is evolving, and the way that the tokenization market is evolving, is that tokenization and NFTs are going to zip into every aspect of life, not just art. And that's, again, what Tokel is focusing on in that wider adoption of tokenization technology.
That's really cool, actually. So in a sense, to create an NFT, really, it's just to stamp originality on a piece of data, right? Because I mean, you can.
Yes, it is. And if you're the sole owner of that piece of data, then it's kind of transferable to being the sole owner of a painting of a famous artist. So right now, CryptoPunks and Bored Apes, they have become kind of like a trademark of I don't know, wealth, if you want, from the people that are buying them now, because they're so expensive now. But they started a myth. They started a journey where they were produced in a certain quantity. They were unique, and the people who bought into them, they got massively rewarded. Well, not all of them, but most of them. So I think the collectible value of an NFT is the easiest way to understand it.
Yeah, I get it. Thanks for that. Awesome.
Okay, good. Well, this is quite fascinating, and again, I bet we could just keep going on, getting some more education around these things. I'm really dreamed him mentioning about how Tokel is looking to bring NFTs into and tokens into an even wider space, more integrated into our lives. And one thing I'm thinking of is because a lot of our lives live online digitally. For example, we consume a lot of data, whether it's music or like a course or something like that. And I'm imagining things like your NFT or your token is a key, an access to something, and it's a tradable access as well. You can trade that access to somebody else. And just it looks like these things are helping us to create more value, sustain the value, and trade that value with each other in a more decentralized way. And so I think that enriches everyone.
Yes, and I think that also tokenization is, if you think about it, an environmental friendly way to do things. So if you can tokenize the tickets of an event, then that means that you can distribute all of this digitally. Then you verify it digitally on site, and that essentially means that you avoid any kind of printing of material, you avoid ink, you avoid paper, and you avoid the transportation of all of these tickets to the ticket holders. So there are many benefits to the tokenization technology, not just from a point of view of ownership, but environmental, practical, and also spreading access to digital technology to more people who currently cannot afford to deal with Ethereum, for example.
Right on. Well, okay. I think we are definitely rounding out this talk. Of course, if anybody has anything else to say, please do share. We're going to get to a couple of notes from Dream Tim in just a moment, but I wanted to just swing back around to the NSPV talk because it does heavily relate to Tokel platform, and we are talking about technology. So thank you to Allright for kind of just basically helping me understand better. But the idea is that with the NSPV, you only need to sync up with the latest block because of the notarization feature. Whereas with the regular SPV, you have to sync all the way from the beginning of the chain as well. So even though it's still light in that it's doing, I guess, the block headers, but it has to still use the whole chain. Whereas with the NSPV, it only needs to sync to the most recent block to get the data. So yeah, I hope that helps in a further understanding. Did you want to add anything to that, PTYX?
No, again, I think we covered quite a bit. I don't have anything else to add unless there's like any specific questions
Right on.
I'll be able to answer.
No worries. So I think at this time, then we're gonna just come around to Dream Tim. You can share with us anything we should know specifically about Tokel platform for these days.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that we have done at the Tokel platform is to launch a holiday NFT competition. So that competition ended on the 4th of January. So now we're going to be setting up a process of people voting for the best NFTs. And as we said to people taking part, we're going to support them when they launch the NFT series on the Tokel platform. There's also a prize of 2,000 Tokel plus a lot of other benefits. One of the key things that this person will win is also the position to be a Tokelit. So this is a rank that we're going to be introducing, which sits above the rank of the Tokel list, and that's given to super special people that do very special things for Tokel, and we want to remember them, celebrate them, and also reward them for their efforts. Other things that have been happening, which are very considerate, is that Tokel Talk, has been listed in the best 10 best NFT podcasts that you should be following. And now that article is ranking number 1 or number 2 in Google. So we have seen a lot more downloads of the recorded podcast. So that's very exciting. It means a lot more people have access to this content, and they can listen to Tokel Talk on, Apple Podcasts or Amazon or their preferred platform like Spotify or anything like this. Another big piece of news, obviously, which sort of was announced in the last year, was the new exchange that we have in Dextrade. So that is in addition to Atomic Dex. We have made some changes to the website. So Daria has been hard at work to make the website look more friendly to new users. So we have added an exchange section and other areas where you can easily exchange with the Tokel platform. And we also have very recently some content produced in Turkish. We want to give a shout out to our Turkish community, which is growing, and they have been, amazing in supporting Tokel. A special shout out to Ginger Design that has been helping us with a lot of translations and social media activity, as long as a lot of the Tokel lists. That was the update from the Tokel platform for me.
Excellent. Thank you, Dream Tim. And of course, we are rounding out this discussion. If you're listening live, thanks so much for being here and spending your time with us right now. And if you're listening recorded, well, as well, thanks to you sharing your time with us here, as we can share ours with you and grow the whole ethos around NFTs and tokens and, of course, Tokel platform. And of course, thank you as well to PTYX for joining us from Komodo platform, and Collider, Weblet, and Crypto Challenger from the Collider platform, Crypto Collider team. So we're just going to go around and say our goodbyes. And of course, just let us know where can we find out more about you, like where can we go to find out more, how we can see what you're doing, or if you have a website or a contact. So we'll start with you, PTYX.
If you have any questions for the Komodo team, you can reach out to us through our website. We have a web form. If you have any business questions, you can reach out to us through partners@komodoplatform.com, or feel free to drop into our Discord and just ask away.
Thanks, PTYX. We're wishing you all the best for this year, 2022, and all the best to Komodo platform, and of course the whole community ecosystem and everyone involved on one level or another.
Thank you. We wish you guys the best as well.
Wonderful. And as well, Weblet, thanks so much for joining us today and sharing your thoughts, ideas, and experiences.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Excellent, and good luck with the upcoming release. I know it sounds like you put in a lot of work and had a good learning experience so far, initiation into this whole industry. Do you think you're going to stick around, and is it something you continue to be excited about?
Definitely, yeah. Really thought about it, but yeah, definitely. I'm keen to stick around. It's looks like a really interesting industry to be in at this point in time.
Well, good for you. We're happy to have you around. And of course, Collider. You're welcome. Thanks, Collider, for being here. CJ.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us. It's been great to have a chat about tokenization, gamification, and decentralization, the three pillars that binds us all together. So that's great. I'm really looking forward to following the progress that Tokel and Komodo make, along with hopefully Collider's making some progress too. The 1.8 major update will be out very soon, so look out for that at cryptocollider.com and also in our Discord.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Collider, for your presence here today. And of course, all those candid questions and answers and sharing in this discussion with us. And of course, Kelsey, thank you too for being here and for sharing some of your thoughts about some of these Komodo technologies that you're getting to learn about as well.
Of course, and thank you for hosting as usual.
Yeah, my pleasure. I really enjoy it, and I'm glad you're here. The more the merrier. So, of course, now finally we have our Dream Tim. And Dream Tim, thanks again for being here and basically directing this ship. And we look forward to the future Tokel Talks. We'll be back for another one in 2 weeks from now. So stick around to listen to that one in 2 weeks' time. But before that, Dream Tim, where else can we find more Tokel Talks and other things Tokel related?
Well, you can, of course, visit Tokel.io, and there's links to all of our social media there. Also, if you go to Discord, there is an important link section right at the top, and that's where you can find all relevant links, articles, and Tokel Talk podcast links, essentially, if you want to listen to it after the event. So yeah, thank you all guys for being here, and thank you everybody for coming.
Wonderful. Indeed. Thanks, everyone. And we will see you in 2 weeks. We'll have another Tokel Talk on Tuesday. Take care.
Right.
And yeah, thanks, PTYX, Weblet, Collider, for Crypto Challenger as well, Kelsey and Dream Tim.
you.
I'm Giuliano.
Thanks.
And of course, hey, thanks to Cox for running the stream. And of course, thanks to the audience and all the listeners. Until next time, goodbye.
A new, exciting open source blockchain platform has been born. Its core mission is to develop easier and more affordable tools for everyone to be able to create tokens and NFTs. For the first time, we're introducing the innovative Tokel platform, a fully decentralized, community-driven project with contributors globally. It offers many new powerful features for artists, content creators, and event organizers and token owners. Tokel is building the future of tokenization together with the help of Komodo technologies. Creators and users have the freedom to create, to hold, buy, sell, and trade tokens with ease. Developers have the freedom to build on top of the platform's layer. Tokel has features such as simplified token creation tools, token decks, and NFT marketplace. The NFT creation process has an extremely low barrier to entry. Businesses and individuals can now benefit from the token economy by using tokens in everyday life. A built-in decentralized exchange enables peer-to-peer trading. Tokel.io, the future of tokenization to NFT and beyond.